Hey guys, this is Ebony with Coinology, our Thursday night session. I'm going to wait a bit until we get some more folks to join. I'm going to also share this over on my EPI Media Group page. Do me a favor, share so we can get a good amount of people to join so we can make this a very interactive session. Hey, Dr. Mila. Hey, Kelly. How are you? Hey, Marcy. I see you out there. I saw you, Jackie. Janine, hey. How you doing? So you guys please share. And we'll get started in just a second. Hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I absolutely love the holidays. Love the holidays. I'm a true holiday girl, so this time of the year is really exciting for me. Hey, Tanisha. Hey, Kelly. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, so for the interest of time, because, we typically only have 30 minutes, I want to go ahead and get started. And if we run over a little bit, great. If we don't have any questions today and we, end early, then we will do that as well. But I just want to make sure we start off by sharing. It's going to be very important. In order for think tanks to work, we have to have interaction from all of you guys as well as from the other folks that are outside of our group. So first I want to go ahead and talk a little bit what today is going to be about. So I was thinking for the last couple of weeks, because we had Thanksgiving last week and the week before that I had some other things going on, and I had not had an opportunity to do Coinology in a while. And so it hit me. I'm like, we're right here at the end of 2017. We're walking into 2018. And many of us are still in the exact same situation that we were in when we entered into 2017. So how many of us, year after year, we get excited about New Year's resolutions, our vision boards? We start, new year, new me, and, leaving last year behind, leaving all the drama. I mean, I see all this stuff. I see the lady that's walking over the baggage and she's going into a new year. I see that every year. And then the same people every year at the end in November, December are talking about, oh my goodness, my year was terrible. I'm ready to move into the new year. There wasn't anything I didn't achieve. I see that a lot, and I see it from the exact same people. So we have to ask ourselves, why are we that girl that's walking over the baggage every year? Every year we're complaining about not achieving our goals. And then primarily that's because we are continuously doing the exact same thing every single year and expecting a different result. And when we continue to do that, we continue to become disengaged, angry, blaming others for our issues, and then we continue to live a life of unfulfillment. So today, I'm going to try to have a couple more of these by the end of the year. I do want to try to break the mold a little bit. So I want to introduce you guys a little bit to think tanks. Think tanks are going to be special sessions that I'm going to be having over on my Coinology page starting in 2018. But they're primarily sessions for individuals who are hitting brick walls. They're continuously hitting the same issues, and they just don't know how to break through them. What I've learned, and I think most of you guys have learned as well, most of us learn not only from our own problems in business, but sometimes it's helpful if we can dissect the problems with that business and sit back and watch. So basically in the Coinology think tanks, you guys will be able to sit back. We would have a live session like this. I would choose a business owner to be able to come on live, and we will work through their problems live, whatever those issues are. So the other folks that are involved in that think tank will be able to sit back, take notes, apply those things to their own businesses, and continue to learn. So as we do that week after week after week after week, you're going to continue to learn new things and things that you can apply to your own business. So those think tanks will be starting in 2018, and they're going to be over in the Coinology group. But I wanted to do a few of them out here in the public group first, so that you guys can kind of get a feel for it a little bit, and then you'll know exactly what to expect when you see think tanks walk across or come across your screen. Okay, so let me ask you guys a few questions as we move into the next. What is it that scares you? And if you can, just type some of the things down the bottom. I can see them because I have all of my apparatuses up here. I want to be able to have an interactive session with you guys. So if you guys can just name off some of the things at the bottom that you're afraid of. What are some of the things that scare you? And when I say scare you, I mean scare you as it relates to starting your business. Scares you as far as stepping out on your own. Scares you about living your dream, being successful. What are some of the things that scares you? Okay. Let me see. I see some of you guys are commenting. I see being failure. Okay. Failure is a huge one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Being stagnant. And being stagnant is something that you can control, Nico. And we'll talk about that. Tanisha, I'll tell you in a few about how to get in the group before we end out. We have not having consistent flow of clients. Very good question. Very, very, very good question. By the way, Carrie, I don't know if you've had an opportunity. Yeah, you did. You purchased the book. We talk about generating new business. And thanks, guys, on that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So as it relates to what scares us, the biggest thing that I tend to hear a lot about is failure. I see you, Gerard, when you have stepping out in your comfort zone. And again, that's, failure. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. There's no such thing as failure. Failure is just an experience that you go through that teaches you whether or not to do something a certain way and how to change it and go through it another way. It's an experience. Those are things that you go through that make you better and make you an expert in your field. So when you start looking at things as experiences versus a failure, because a failure means that it happened, it defeated you, and you stopped. You should never just stop. So when those things happen, it's all about that mindset shift. And that's one of the things we talk about a lot in Coinology is changing the way that we think about things. Once we start to change the way that we receive experiences that happen in our lives, we begin to excel in business. So again, there's no such thing as failure. Failure is only when you have something that happens to you negatively and it makes you stop forever. And you don't have to ever do that. That's a choice. Stepping out of your comfort zone, I saw that. That scares a lot of us because most of us want to rely on where we're from, the people we know, our family, our Facebook groups, and so forth. And you can't do that. If you want to be successful in life, and we talked about that a little bit earlier, you're going to have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and meet new people, go new places, join new groups, learn something new. That comfort zone is a dead zone. When you're comfortable, you're dying because you're not growing. Keep that in mind. So when you get too comfortable and you get too cozy, you're in a very bad situation. So make sure that you continue to meet new people. Never rely. If you're going to go into business or start a new venture, if your goal is to rely on family or friends that knew you from back then, good luck. You're going to have to, stretch yourself. You're going to have to move into a different area and do things that take you out of your comfort zone. Going to conferences, growing and going to new groups, meeting new people, reading new books, You have to do things that take you out of the area in which you are most comfortable and where you've always been and stayed, okay? So any other comments about what are some of the things that scare you before we move on to the next question? Any other comments? Any other things that scare you guys that we can talk about? Meeting new people, that beginning trust factor, especially when you're in business and business I did. Very good, okay? Kelly, because that is probably something that you and I probably share. Because by nature, I just don't trust initially. And you shouldn't. In business, let me just tell you this. You should not. You should not go into business being clueless, offering up all your ideas, giving up everything, and you don't have a contract. There's no agreement in place. You're not clearly sure what the end goal is. You should not do that. But the way to avoid that is to make sure you do have your contracts in place, to make sure you do keep certain key things confidential. You can't go in there running your mouth like a faucet. You have to be able to know and discern when it's time to share information and with who. I will tell you that partnerships are tough. They're tough because it's tough finding people that you can trust. I see here Carrie forming a new team. I mean, that's hard work. I mean, I thank God every day that I've been able to find a really good team for EPI Media Group, but that is number one. That is a number one concern. But what I will tell you about that, Carrie, is that you can't be successful and really grow a business that will be a legacy for your family by yourself. So if you're worried about, oh, they're going to get my trade secrets, or I've heard other entrepreneurs say, oh, I'm training my competition. If you keep looking at things that way, you're only going to go so far. You have to be able to believe that what makes you special and why people buy your services or your products is because of you, Carrie. And no one else can be Carrie but you. So keep those things in mind as you think about that a little bit. Any other, let me see if I missed any other comments before we go on to the next question here. Meeting new people, beginning trust factors, true. And let me just say this, as it relates to, trusting teams and trusting people, the first thing you need to worry about is, can you trust yourself? Okay. A lot of times we have that internal clock that tells us what we can and can't trust. And some of us are not. Some of us are a little bit more in tune with discerning that than others. But as a business owner, it is your responsibility to put certain key factors in place that protect you as a business owner. So that if you do come across things that potentially can become a problem with the teammate or with partners, you can easily and quickly resolve those things. So those are things that we can talk about that another time, I think, because we only have a limited amount of time, but I think it's important. So one of the future sessions that we'll talk about is some of the things you should have in place if you're choosing to grow into a team and if you're choosing to move into partnerships. I've done both. I've had a partner before and I've built teams before. I've built very successful teams and I've also had teams that didn't work. I personally am not a proponent for partnerships. They just don't work for me. But we'll talk about that at another time. I see here, Kelly, finding the right mentor and your different business ventures also. Yeah, so is that a fear for you, or are you just making a statement about that? Okay. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next question, guys. Next question I have is, what's causing you to continue to hit a brick wall? So for some of you guys who have tried to go out and start your new ventures, every year you talking about, oh, I'm going to, new year, new me, new venture, new business, new things. And every year we end up sitting right back at the same place, wishing and hoping the next year I'm going to hit that $1 million mark. I'm going to be the next Diddy. I'm going to be the next Jay-Z or whatever it is that you're targeting to be. But you keep hitting a brick wall. What do you think? What's causing you? Have you thought through what's causing you to hit the brick wall? I see fear. Okay, great, Carrie. Capital. What are some of the other things that's causing you to hit brick walls? What's the first 5 steps? Okay, Latoya, we're going to talk. I'm going to answer some of those questions in a minute about some of the steps to take. But the first thing I want to ask you, what are some of the things that's causing you to hit brick walls? So this is for individuals who have not just dreamed about it, but have actually gone out and tried, and something has happened and retreated. You've retreated back and you decided not to move forward. Any of you guys have had that experience that you can talk about, or you want to put, some things down in the investments? Okay, so it sounds like capital. That's typically, so usually it's the same thing. So when you ask questions about what are some of the things that scare you, that is usually failure. Usually when you ask an entrepreneur some of the problems, the biggest problems that they have, they always talk about finding a reliable and successful team. And then when you ask individuals about what's causing you to hit brick walls, it's always capital. So what I will tell you, because in order to run a business, you will need capital. But you don't have to always, there's different avenues to be able to start your business and generate capital besides from yourself. Now, how many of you guys have gone out and actually tried to obtain funding from SBAs, some angel investors, things of that nature? Have you actually gone out to do that, or have you just been so intimidated by the process that you stopped? Because that's the thing. I will tell you, as you guys keep going, in order to be successful in business, you can't get comfortable and stop. I will tell you, to be successful in business is not easy. You're going to have to do the things you don't want to do. You're going to have to write the proposals. You're going to have to submit in for funding. You're going to have to meet people that you don't necessarily know, or you're intimidated, or you're scared. You're going to have to sit down with people that may make you a little nervous. You're going to have to get comfortable with presentation skills and styles. You're going to have to be comfortable asking for what you want. I will tell you, most of the entrepreneurs that I meet, the reason why they don't have the capital, because they don't ask for it. How many of you guys have actually gone through the process to submit for capital or to ask for it from investment firms? And because it's not, I know it's not easy getting a business loan from a bank, okay? So we all know that. But there's other avenues to be able to generate income for your business. How many of you guys have actually researched the other ways to generate income? Or you just said, I don't have the money and I just haven't tried. Okay, I see you, Myla. And I know, Myla, you've definitely been out there. But Myla, you're running a multi-million-dollar plastic surgeon facility. So the average person, to be able to continue to maintain that type of overhead for 2 years, funding has to be, unless you were born Donald Trump. Okay, Marcy, you've done it. Were you successful at doing that? Was it successful for you? Let me see some of your other comments up here while we're waiting on. Okay, Carrie, you're intimidated by the process. Okay, great, Marcy. So you were successful. You went through it. I didn't know what I had to find out and didn't come. Right, you had to find out. It's intimidating. So Carrie, read Myla's comment that she just stated. She didn't come from money. She didn't know anything about that. Myla is a brilliant woman. She's a plastic surgeon. She's a doctor. But she's not a business person. So she had to take herself out of her comfort zone. She had to learn as much as she could about business, about finances. And push and ask. I guarantee you there's not a day or week that Dr. Mila is not asking or positioning herself to get funding. When you're in business for yourself, you're always positioning yourself for funding. So one, I would tell you this, Carrie, if it's about intimidation, I would definitely say you need to team up with a business coach or a mentor, okay, and have somebody to help walk you through the process. In order for you to be successful, you will need capital. And you can't be intimidated and asking for what you want. I remember someone told me this years ago, a closed mouth just will not get fed. So I definitely think that you need to get yourself a coach or a mentor that can walk you through it. There are people who are very good at helping others generate capital and walking them through it and helping you streamline your message. Most people don't know. The biggest reason why most of us don't get the money that we ask for is we don't know what we're asking for. We don't know how we're going to use it. We can't clearly articulate how we're going to pay the money back. And we can't really talk about the benefit of whatever it is that we're asking for. If you can't answer those questions, you can't expect someone to open up their checkbook and write you out a check. So those are things that you have to be prepared for. Again, some of the things we talked about earlier and some other sessions is being prepared before you sit down and have that meeting. But you can't say, Carrie, and some of the others that are in the group, that capital is your issue if you've never gone out there and actually tried to get it. Okay? All right, so I see very intimidated, took everything I had. And that's a good thing that you bring up there too, Mila. And in business, you know, if an investor wants to see that you've invested in yourself first. So that's in capital all the way around, from sponsorship dollars, from investments into your company, angel investors. People want to see that you've invested in yourself. If you expect that I have a great dream and I'm hoping that you'll just pay into it, you know, sometimes those things happen, but the reality of it is before someone writes you a check out for your company and business, they're going to want to know, what have you invested? What blood, sweat, and tears have you put into your own business in order for me to write out a check and trust that I'm going to get some residual income? Because at the end of the day, when people invest into your business, they're looking for a return. Believe that. All right. So the next thing, so we have about 7 minutes left before we have to close out. So I'm going to skip through some of these. I'm going to open up to questions. What type of questions do you guys have that I could potentially answer for you as it relates to business? Anything, and remember, they need to be high level questions because we only have 7 minutes left, and I want to make sure to be able to get to everybody's questions and comments. And then we'll also be doing these again by the end of the year. And in 2018, we will be digging into businesses. So each week, I will choose a different business that we will highlight in the Coinology group. And we will go through and we will dissect what that problem is and what needs to be done to fix it. I think someone asked earlier, how do I join the Coinology group? You can go to www.coinology.biz. If you go and look under Coinology session, there's an area there that you can request to join the private group. I will start mentoring in January. So your question there in January. I don't necessarily call it mentorship, Kelly. It's actually going to be my mastermind course. So I will begin masterminding January the 5th. And in the mastermind program is where you get access to the Coinology page. So that's where you will come in, and that's when you will see all of the work that we're doing. It's going to be an 8-week course. We walk you completely through all the process. We start from the beginning. We take your potential project or your product or service. You come in with that idea, and by the time you finish in 8 weeks, you should be ready to go. And so we walk through that, and then we're also going to have different exercises. And again, we're going to have our think tanks each week. When you leave in 8 weeks, you're not going to be the same person. There's no way that you will be the same person that you were when you started. Will anyone be able to join the mentoring? You will be able to submit. I will be looking at all of the submissions, and depending on how serious that person is, what their product and services are, and where they are at that process, because it's an 8-week course. It's sort of like a executive MBA program. So when you join, you have to be serious. You're going to have the time to dedicate, and you're going to have to be serious about really being successful in business, because I'm going to hold each and every one of you guys accountable for being successful as a graduate of the Coinology program. Let me see, any other questions that you guys may have? A few seconds there, but I'm back. Any other questions that you guys may have as it relates to business or anything about Coinology? All right, so we have 4 minutes left, so I want to make sure you guys, I want to talk about a few other things. If you guys do still have questions in regards to the Coinology Mastermind course and being able to partake in the think tank, definitely shoot me an email, ebony@epimediagroup.com, or you can also reach out to Azel, and her name is Azael at epimediagroup.com, and we will be able to help you register. But if you go over to the coinology.biz page, registering is there. So Ebony, how do you build a team when your social circle is unsupportive and unreliable? Good question. We just talked about that a little bit earlier. You cannot rely on people that you know. One of the things I learned very early on about building a team, you can't build a team with moms and cousins and friends that I grew up with, and KK and Boo Boo and all them. Nah, that's not going to work. You're going to have to go out there and build a team of people off of their expertise that you don't necessarily know. Now, I will say maybe someone from your, as your personal assistant or somebody will probably be good to be somebody that you know and trust, that's known you for a very long time. But what I will tell you is that when you start hiring people that are in your social circle, like moms, cousins, and all of them, you are going to have a problem when they don't deliver and you have to fire them. That's going to be a real big problem. So I would definitely advise you not to really depend on your social circle to build a team. I always kind of look outside of that. That was a great question. So a couple other things again. Thank you, Mila, for putting Azel's information there. You can always reach out to Azel, and she can help you go in and register if you have any questions. Again, you can send me an email. I'm Ebony with a Y at EPI Media Group, or just inbox me here on Facebook, and I'll help walk you through a few things. A couple of other things I did want to talk about is I will be going on tour starting in January. Yay! Thank you, everyone, for your support with Coinology. Thank you. If you don't know, my first book, Coinology, Authentically You, is now available everywhere books are sold. And thank you so much for the support. I've been getting a lot of support. I've been getting great emails and feedback, and so many people are out there supporting the vision and the movement, and I'm so appreciative. Thank you. And I've been asked to kind of go around the country and do a little bit of this Coinology masterminding and think tanking in person. And so we have created the Coinology clusters. And you said, what is your website? My website is coinology.biz. Coinology.biz. So anyway, we've created the Coinology clusters, and we're going to be going to 9 cities right now. We've identified 9, but we're still getting emails in from other cities that want us to come. And there we're going to have small, intimate sessions. It's going to be a 4-hour session when we are going to talk through some really detailed business issues and be able to work through those things on a personal setting. So I'm excited. Our first stop is going to be in Hampton, Virginia, my hometown. Woo, 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 757. I will be coming there on January the 13th. Registration for the Coinology cluster, which is meant to be intimate, is now also open on my website at coinology.biz. So you can go there and register to be able to get one of the limited seats that we're going to have. Again, it's structured to be small and intimate because in order for me to be able to get through and actually work through the issues and problems that you may be having with your businesses, I need to be able to get deep, and we need to be able to do some serious work during those sessions. So again, you can register for the Coinology cluster there at coinology.biz. So just look for Coinology clusters. They're very inexpensive. They're only $49 to attend the clusters, and I'll be going to 9 different cities. So I'm excited about that. And then you also can register for the Coinology Mastermind on my page too. So make sure you don't mix the two up. The Mastermind is the 8-week course that we'll be walking through virtually online. And then the cluster is when I come to you to different cities and being able to come in and get some work done. And then lastly, I will be coming to Albany, Georgia this Saturday. I am so excited about it. I want to say thanks to V from the Chocolate Factory. They're bringing the Coinology crew to Albany. It's 3 hours away from Atlanta. They have been showing me so much love and appreciation, and I guess Albany home style love. But I'm coming there. I'm gonna talk a little bit at the Coinology Sip and Swap that they're gonna have there about some of the principles of being a successful business owner. And some of the things to keep in place and some principles about Coinology. And I will also be signing my book there. So if you live in Albany, please come out. The event is at the Icons Restaurant, and it is going to be from 1 to 4. No, it's Icons Lounge. I'm sorry. The Icons Lounge. And it's from 11 to 4 in Albany, Georgia. The flyer is actually on my page. So I will be sure to post it again so that you'll have that information. But again, thank you everyone for all of your support. If you guys have any other questions, definitely inbox me, because I'm going to be doing more think tank sessions open on this avenue by the end of the year, before we close them out in the Coinology group for next year. So if you have questions that you would like for us to dig deep in, let me know. The other thing I'm open to doing too is if you are open to doing a shared Facebook Live with me, and we can walk through some of your issues live here. If you're open with that, also inbox me, and we will include you in some upcoming sessions so we can talk through some business and make sure that we're all prepared to win in 2018. Again, thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate all of the support. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.